Hi guys, it's Mark from France and today the fight from the Muggy'S. Those cars are not monster trucks. Monster truck had reduction gear, has bigger, fatter tools on front and rear pinion, has bigger, fatter, heavier tires, have a higher ground clearance in the center, and also have big bumpers to can really drive raw. Muggy'S are truggies with bigger tires and a little bit more protection for the heavy terrain. That's why the corraly Cross, they claim it's a monster truck, is definitely not a monster truck. You have even no bumper. I find this really silly to have an off-road car for bash without any bumper. Arrma had a bumper. This is not a real fight because this is just how to say the way to put to death the corraly. The Arrma Kraton is for me the absolute Muggy king in RTR because it's the Ford version. They do every year something better on the car, something tougher to really take care on the customers. Okay, for corraly it's the first time to do something, but at the other side they have an example what you can do for do something good. The body from the corraly is tougher than the Arrma one. The tires, these are the corraly tires, are better than the Arrma tires. They are lighter, they can heat and can really take more abuse, and I'm really happy with the form. That's the weak point from the Arrma tires. The form really fast dies, and the Arrma tires are really costful. And most of the time Proline tires are less priced as the Arrma tires. The form, the look, that's something just you have to do with yourself. If you love the Arrma, the outside from the Arrma, you love it. If you love the crowns, you love the crowns. That's nothing to do. We can compare the Kronos to the Arrma Kraton V1 version back in the time from one side, but I would say before for the other side they had the example of what to do. This car is more costful than this one. This car has not so good chassis than this one, and also the diff output drive are weak. I drive it only because of my bad. I do a bad crash with the truck, less than half an hour, and in this less than half an hour I already has some wear on the output drive shafts, what is nothing that you can have with the Arrma. Out of the box we have oil in the diffs and thick oil in the center diff. Oil out from the box here, you might have some oil, but really thin oil, too thin to put the power on the ground. And after I open it I have grease in the diffs and no oil. The Arrma's has no waterproofed bearings, but that's not bad because after every run and before every run you can use some oil. You can put some PTFE oil for the spray can, not use WD-40 rust cracker. Use oil and oil fluid. And with that you will have really no issue with the bearing. I drive my Arrmas a year long without do anything. I opened the diff after years, I changed only the bearing after years, but I drive in water, in mud and all the stuff. I don't specially clean my Arrmas. For me that's really a truck you can put out the box, put your lipo on, make your own toy and camber adjustment what you need, and go bash it. The same way I'm not gonna put some not rusting screws on. I'm not gonna put some heavy protection on the truck. I just use a bumper. I don't put some skid plates, some chassis protection and some stuff because the chassis is really low in price. I drive it, I bash it, I use it. When it's brake I change the parts for brakes, and that's it. And that's the way it goes with the Arrmas. I'm never gonna buy an Arrma and then put 200 or 300 euro of optional parts on, like I see many times on YouTube, and I don't understand this, because if you buy a truck for 550 bucks and then put 200 or 300 bucks option, you can immediately go buy a Techno-RC, an X-Ray or a T-Masso truggy, put bigger tires on and go to the field to bash it. The point is that the most competition buggy are really heavy in price. Without electronic, you pay for a competition truggy the price you pay for this car complete. And you have to put the electronic in, all the stuff, you come to 700-800 euros. And then many people don't want to bash it because the price is too high, but this one not. You have 550 euro and you can bash it. This one is heavy in price, you are about 600 euros and you have less quality. The bearings are water sealed on the paper, but when I get this car, I opened the car, the bearing was already rusty, and the nylon shield from the bearing was, because it's a really cheap bearing in this car, was really not closed. You see into the balls from the bearing through the nylon stuff. What's the point from this? I don't know. Then I had some issue with the steering knuckles. Not bad, but they bent. So why put a heavy 7mm hex here to can adjust this if the whole turnbuckle is weak? The plastics from the arms are okay, but not the plastics from the stiffener. Corraly makes some heavy stiffener everywhere. You have 3 in the rear, 2 in the front. You can reinforce it with graphite plate, but it is heavy in price. Also for the suspension arms. Creighton is made for bash, it's not made for competition. You have nothing, you can change a little bit the adjustment from the shocks, the diff fluids, and that's it, and you can drive and you will be happy with. And I'm sure if you give that car to a competition driver, he will do a competition with, and he's surely not gonna be the last on the stand with this car. This one is a little bit higher in price because they say it's a beginner basher, but you can go to the field. We have heavy options to put it to a race car. But if you take the beginning price, if you take all the options, in the end you have to give more money out than to buy the Techno-RC, the X-Ray or Serpent or every other truggy you want. So that's no point. You can stiffen all the brace, but it's useless because the brace don't break in the middle, they break on the fixation point. Many guys break this particular front in the middle, you break it and I break it. Okay, I make a big crash, but you see, they claim we use counter-strunk in the stiffener. We don't just make the thread in the plastics, but it's better to have the thread in the plastic because you have more plastic, because here the nuts are locked in a hole with only 1mm of plastic. That means when you brake, when you flex the chassis, I have it already, just that happens to me in a flat field. I just make a flip over and then the brace was cracked. I had the nylon nuts with the little small part of plastic bolted on the chassis, but my brace was cracked. So what's the point for all that? And why did we need all that? If you need all that, that is because we have here a weak point, and the rear of the chassis is really a weak point. This is way too small. You have no sided up to have more stiffness in the rear, and this chassis is way too flex. We wait to the 70-75mm chassis and all the option there. I also show it on a French video. I had one of this axle carrier here in the hand and I bent it with my hand. I just put my 2 thumbs on it, hold it with the second finger, and I bent it like it was a plastic sheet. It's really low quality aluminium. I get from a subscriber just absolutely normal 6061 alloy. So I take my flex and flex out 2 parts, make 8 holes in and make my own braces. And now it's tough. this alloy is tougher than the stock alloy, and it's just 6061, so I don't want to know what they use here. The Arrma alloy is also not hard, but they put twice the thickness of it, so it's okay. That's why we are happy with the Arrmas. Also on the Arrma you have the alloy top plate here. Here you have a plastic top plate which is also really weak. You have not much room in, and you have only 1 mm here, put it with 2 3mm screws on the front. So that's bad, because that will break. You have here, okay, a better motor. This motor is a real hobby wing motor, you really feel it, it's a little bit better. You have ESC, which is relatively equal. You have here 5 functions to set up. Here you can set up all the stuff, because this is exit for competition and this one is just for bash. This 5 you can change is okay. All I miss here is the cutoff, can change the cutoff. I want to have the choice for my cutoff on my ESC. The battery tray from the Arrma is the best you can have for basher. It's heavy, it's okay, but the battery are really safe in there. In this particular one, not, because if you crash, he will crack. He's only bolted with 2 screws on the chassis, and it's not a complete plate, it's just a thread. And I'm really not happy with this battery hold down, so I buy another battery holder and bolt it on this one all together in the chassis, so I can really bash it free. Here we have a 50 kilo servo. We know the servo is weak, the tools are weak from the servo, but in the V4 version it's enough. The servo is better than the old one. The steering is still a little bit too weak. When you understand, you have a really slow direction and heavy to turn, but when you drive it's not an issue. Here you have a 20 kilo servo who's better than, not better, but better than the 50 kilo servo. He's slower, and he even not can turn the tires when you understand. So I make the servo saver a little bit harder, and what happens after 3 runs, and not much harder, just a little bit. I still have servo saving system, but he dies after 3 runs. So servo is good for the trash. The shocks are okay, shock towers are okay, but how I say, the plastic from the stiffener are not okay, and the steel are really soft. It's not a problem with the CVDs, like on Arrma, also really a soft steel, but the output drive are softer than the Arrma ones. The differential seems to be okay until now. Now I put it together finally. You know, or you not know, I crashed this car really heavy in a pillar 3 months ago. So I go to check what I need all for repair it new, because it was new. So I came to the amount from 200 euro to put it all together with new parts. I don't want to spend 200 euros more on this truck. I already spent 600 euro to get it. So I let it on the side. I just take some plastic parts for 50 euros, and finally I think, okay, I take a battery tray from another brand, bolt it on it. I make myself my alloy parts, and I take the shock tower and the chassis, put it on a straight steel surface, take my hammer and hammer it straight. And finally it works cool. So I will drive this truck further, but not more with the big tires. I will here drive it with the HPI Dirty Bones. I really love these tires. They are bright tires, it really fits good to the body. The wheels are really light, and I go down to 14 tooths. This is the major failure from Corraly. They put them on the market with the buggy gearing. They use the buggy gearing in the truggy, and that it's really wrong. I don't say many brands use in the buggy smaller diff gear and smaller main pinion on the diffs. That's not a need. Arrma don't do it, but they put a bigger tooth on the main gear and a smaller pinion on the motor to get the same effect. So they do it also, but they don't put a bigger main pinion and don't make a smaller pinion on the motor. They really get it out with a 72 pinion motor gear, and it's way too heavy. The truck out from the box can run 100 kilometers an hour without any problem. It's too much. It's too brutal for the car, and you have really big heat and consumption in the car. You can drive only if you drive it really hard with this pinion, you go to 70 minutes and then it's over for your battery. With the 14 pinion tooth gear you are slower, but you can drive it, you can really use it. So I will do that. A smaller pinion and smaller tires. I will drive it for the beginning because we are closed in the house with the virus. I will drive it in my backyard only with 4S for beginning. I will drive the Kraton to 6S because I have no 4S to get in there in the moment. But outside it's not gonna be a match between these two. I'm just gonna drive this one and after that one, or maybe I'm gonna begin with the softer one with the 4S and then this one with the 6S. This car is definitely not a heavy basher. It's a cool car, it's okay. You can use it on a track, you can use it if you love your RC and drive cool, but definitely not can bash it like you can bash the Arrma Kraton. And what's the baddest point by Corraly is the aftermarket. Several from us since the V1 Arrma has issue with Arrma because differential, CVD, some shock shaft for bands, weak parts, and they always give you a cool answer. They always note it, they take care of it, and every year or every 2 years they make an upgrade on the car to make it better and better and better. So they come to the point you can take this car out from the box, put the battery on and go drive. Really bash, not just drive. You have not to open the diffs to change the oil or put in oil or something. The shocks are already right fields. Personally, I prefer to have heavier oil in front and less thick oil in the rear. The most of the car comes with too hard oil in the back and too soft in the front for me, but that's also the case here. But here, if you phone to Corraly, if you mail them to say I have really after 10 packs too much wear and the output drive shaft, they don't tell you we're gonna make something better. Thank you for sharing this with us. No, they tell you, oh, you drive it too hard, you then can't drive. And that's really something I hate. Hobbytech in France made the same failure 50 years ago, and the result is that they never come really up with on the market. Arrma don't make this mistake. They since beginning have a super aftermarket service, and that's why Arrma in 10 years really get from beginner RCE to a top-notch mark. You can buy it and see it everywhere, and you can really have fun with the truck without having to put too much money on the table. And I really hope that Corraly will stick up the finger from the ace. Sorry, I must tell it this way because it's just not okay. When I crashed my Corraly, it was just an accident. It was the first time in 25 years RC that I really crashed so bad an RC. I never have destroyed any of my RC until this one. So they don't mail me back and tell me, oh, what happens, can we help you? No. That was Traxxas does, that is what Arrma does, that is what other brand does for me. But Corraly sent me a mail and tell me that's a shame to destroy this car and make a shame on Corraly. Like I have spent my 600 euro and send it to a pillar. No, this was just an accident. So I tell them that I want some excuse from them, because this is not just it's not okay. That reaction is not okay. It's okay for a kid who is angry, but not for a brand and not for a professional aftermarket manager. So they calm down, but they still make no excuse and make nothing for me. A shop which I not buy the car may send me an email and tell me, hey, will you give me all parts you need. I will make you a special price and send all the parts to you. And this is what he make in less in a week. And this is rcraceshop.de. It's a really cool shop, and we also have here in Germany Pilze Kiste Appen, who also intervene and tell me, yeah, it's not a problem, give me the list for what you need, I will do something for you if they do nothing. So I expect more for quality for that price. It's like the other day I tell you on the Kyosho MP9E Evo RTR, for that price the quality is not there and also not the aftermarket. So I will be okay with this truck if it costs 450, 480 euros, it will be okay. Or if they continue to sell it for 600 euros, we need better alloy and we need real chassis brakes will not break, because it's useless to have 3 chassis brakes, and if you take a bump with 70 kilometers an hour in the off-road, the chassis brakes just break off. And I'm not the only one. Many subscribers from the channel send me emails, send me the photos from the wear, from the output drive, from the breakdown, from the braces, and they can tell, they don't know it, because they exactly know how many they sell aftermarket, and they just can only see that are some weak point on the truck. It's not an issue, it's the first time they do this. We can all understand that the truck cannot be good just out of the box from the first shot. From a brand who has no idea from this size, I personally, I surely not can do something myself. So I really understand that we have weak point, but I don't understand to not have a real aftermarket service who take care of it. So this, I would say in the beginning, is not a fight from the Muggy, this is a kill from this one. If you have the money to buy this one, but if you don't know, should I do or should I don't do it, take this one. If you love it, if you love the form, if you love corraly, if you want to drive this car, you can do it, but take care, the chassis is soft, the stiffener are like they are no stiffener, and the steel from the output drive is also too weak. In 4S maybe okay, in 6S definitely not okay. I think they should go out on the market with only 4S and not 6 for launch these cars. Then look what happens, what not happens, and then only make a 6S version the year after with some little upgrade on the car. If you have one, feel free to ask me. If you not have it, don't ask. No, I will be happy to have the opinion from every one of you guys, and I hope to get it. Bye guys.